What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at two of the most affordable sporty four-door cars on the market. Today I have the keys to the 2026 Hyundai Elantra N and the 2026 Subaru WRX. Big shout out to Flo Hyundai of Statesville for providing the Elantra N for today's video and Subaru USA for the WRX. Now, in today's video, these are not direct trim for trim competitors. However, this will give you kind of a good idea of the spectrum of what each of these cars offer. Now, the Elantra N is offered in one trim level only. You basically pick automatic or manual. It is a dual clutch if you go for the automatic. They range from around $35,000 up to $38,000. For the WRX, they range from around $33,000 to over $45,000. There are 5 trim levels available for the WRX. So this one is a base model. However, the Elantra N here is a dual clutch version. So this is kind of more of the more expensive ones. For the WRX, you would need a limited to have most of the features that you would find in the Elantra. But with that said, let's get right into these cars because the way I review cars, I like to talk about how they drive more than just the little nitpicky features here and there. So we're gonna get into the performance, the size, what they're all about when you actually experience them, especially comparing the two opposite transmissions. So with that said, let's get right into it. Taking a look at some of the performance specification, the Hyundai Elantra N is going to utilize a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. This makes 276 horsepower with 289 pound-feet of torque. These cars are all front-wheel drive with a limited slip differential, either a 6-speed manual or an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic. For the manual, 5.2 seconds 0 to 60. For the auto, 4.8 seconds 0 to 60. Car has a 12.4 gallon fuel tank, and you're looking at miles per gallon ranging from 20 to 21 in the city and 27 to 29 out on the highway. Overall curb weight is going to range from 3,200 pounds to 3,300 pounds. And then over on the WRX, they're all going to feature a 2.4 liter boxer 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. 6-speed manual or a CVT shiftable design are available. Now these cars are all all-wheel drive, making 271 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 is about 5.5 seconds on the manual, closer to 5 seconds on the CVT option. With that, it has a 16.6 gallon fuel tank. Curb weight's going to be around 3,400 pounds. Now moving on to the exterior styling with the Elantra N versus the WRX. Now both of these cars are going to be based on their economy car twins. There's the basic Elantra as well as the basic Subaru Impreza. For the WRX, certainly has a really sharp, bold design to it. On the red color, the black plastic all around actually does look pretty sharp. We have the hood scoop up above to allow airflow to go through the top-mounted intercooler. Got your badging, nice design down below to allow more airflow. Fog lights are available on higher trims, and it has honestly a pretty good looking style. The Elantra N is a little bit more quirky in style, a little bit more unique, but you still got some nice sharp angles. There are forward-facing parking sensors on this one. Nice opening for the front-mounted intercooler. I like all the red accents as well. The Elantra N gets red brake calipers, 19-inch wheels. On the WRX, you have to spec up to the $45,000 trims to get Brembo brakes. So there are, again, some pretty high options, but of course a higher price tag for the WRX. Elantra has some sharp lines all throughout it, and then I like the pedestal spoiler. You're gonna see more angles throughout the rear bumper. Nice looking dual exhaust with rear parking sensors as well. Has a cool, fun style. WRX, once again, more of that plastic material all throughout it. A nice set of taillights, no spoiler or anything for this specific trim level, and then a quad exhaust. A little bit larger rear fenders on the WRX, a little bit more size to it in general as well. But I think for the two different brands, very different companies overall, I think each of the cars has a nice, fun style. Taking a look now at the interior for the WRX. Now with this car, this one's the base offering, so you just have these sporty fabric seats. I like the contrast as well as stitching. In the limited, you're gonna get leather and alcantara on the same seats, and then the GT and TS, you can get Recaro bucket seats. So this one, of course, just fabric on the doors, but again, you can get a lot higher materials in higher specs. Price for price, the limited will have a little bit nicer design. For the gauge cluster, this one's going to get more of an analog design, and then you can go through the center little screen and see a few little items. However, higher trims will have a digital gauge cluster. The nice multimedia screen in the center has some configurations up above with a few things you can take a look at. You will have CarPlay, and it has a nice fit to it with the screen. There's a little bit of lag throughout these screens in the Subarus that you're going to notice. Climate is integrated into the screen. It all does work pretty well overall, just the screen lag is my biggest complaint. For the backup camera, has a decent look to it, filling out about a quarter of the screen or so. And then down below we have storage, plugs, 6-speed manual, and then some storage down below with a manual park and brake. For the steering wheel, has a cool look to it, flat bottom design, nice basic controls all around it, and then some of this carbon fiber material. There's some softer touch materials throughout it as well. And again, depending on the trim you go with, they are spec'd very nicely. Now moving to the interior with the Hyundai Elantra N. So like I said, there is only one trim level available, so every single one is gonna look just like this. You're gonna have the softer touch plastics, alcantara strip throughout the door panel, and these really cool single piece bucket style seats. We got the leather style material, the alcantara, the blue in them, even an illuminated N logo. You have a sunroof up above, a ton of standard features throughout this car, like the heated seats, which are options as you go up the trim levels for the WRX. But cool look for sure. We do have a digital gauge cluster. We can scroll through a couple different things, and you get a really nice depiction in the N mode with more configurations. For the center multimedia screen, a little bit more snappy for sure. You have a nice display right here with a lot of great information for performance. You also have all sorts of adaptive aspects like the suspension, the steering, the engine tuning. To get drive modes in the WRX, again, you gotta go up the ladder for higher trim levels. For the backup camera, nice look to it with all of your parking sensors. So again, just more features standard in the Elantra N. Again, the only difference is you can get a 6-speed manual, which has a really nice feel to it. Climate controls all in physical form, shortcuts for the radio. We do have wireless charging, there's drive modes, and then we have a neat design with that grab handle and also a park and brake. Storage is pretty similar, and then the steering wheel has either the nice paddle shifters or of course nothing for the manuals. Customizable drive modes, we have this mode right here, which will basically put into the optimal performance setting. So hopping into the back seat with the WRX, overall it seems decently roomy. There's a lot of glass in here. I have about 1 inch of headroom. Driver's seat is at my height, and I have a couple inches of knee room there. I do sit a little tall in here, but overall it's spacious enough. I've put car seats in this kind of car, and it does fit well. So overall it's good enough space. We have a 105-inch wheelbase in the WRX and a 107-inch wheelbase in the Elantra N. Now sitting here, I still have about the same headroom. I do have a little bit more knee room, especially with these thinner single-piece backs. One thing I noticed, which we'll also notice when we drive, my voice is a bit more echoey in the Hyundai. The Subaru sound insulation seems really good to where when I talk, I hear a normal soundtrack. In this car, I do feel like my voice is echoing. So overall though, as far as space goes, still pretty fine here, very similar. Neither car has a center armrest, no real amenities like air vents or anything. Higher spec Subarus, I believe, will get heated rear seats. Nothing like that in the Elantra. For the trunk space, the Elantra N is gonna get 14.2 cubic feet of cargo volume. So a nice large area. There's no spare tire. We do have a little bit of storage underneath the floor. And then as you'll notice, we have this chassis brace for right there to give it a little bit more rigidity. The WRX is a little smaller, actually at 12.2 cubic feet. The opening looks a little smaller as well. Underneath the floor, once again, just a little bit of cargo space. In the Elantra N, the seats are gonna fold down pretty flat. However, you will have a large bump into the cargo area. And of course you have that strut brace that will stay in place, which will hinder a little bit for fitting large items like maybe golf clubs. Over in the WRX, the seats are gonna fold a little bit better with a more gradual design onto them. And they also even split the 60/40. So they also fold nice and flat, giving you perfect entryway into the back. Definitely making the Subaru overall actually a bit more practical. So let's start off driving in the WRX. So like I mentioned, there's gonna be 5 trim levels available. Now the base model, the limited and premium, performance-wise is all gonna be the exact same. However, once you get into the GT or the TS, that's when you have drive modes and a bit more things, the Brembo brakes, Recaro seats as well. So the ones that actually compete with the Elantra N in terms of price are gonna drive just like this. This car specifically is really just missing the heated leather seats, the navigation built in, and the fog lights as far as like price for an Elantra N. But with this car, with the manual, it's a nice design to have. All-wheel drive is a big plus in a WRX. And one thing I'm already noticing, it's actually for, more of an economy car, it's not really that loud in here as far as the road noise goes. Suspension, there's no settings in this car at all until you get to higher trim levels, of course, that cost way more than the Elantra N. But it rides pretty comfortable. It feels like a very solid, really well-built car, I would say. So build quality feels really good in the WRX. What you touch, even in a base model, is actually pretty good with the softer touch materials. So I feel like Subaru's built a nice car, I would say, for sure. May not be feature packed, may not have the coolest materials all around like the leather or suede on a base model, but it feels durable and well built. Now, as we do a 3-point turn, the steering feels pretty good. I still have yet to drive the automatic version of a WRX. It is a CVT, continuous variable transmission, with a shiftable tune, basically. So, a little interesting, but we do make a 3-point turn perfectly. It's punchy, I gotta say. Very punchy car, has pretty good power for this type of car. The manual has a longer throw, but it's a very forgiving system. My wife and I actually drove a manual WRX to Michigan and back, and she actually drove it for a good 5 hours, which was one of the first times she's ever driven a manual. So it's a forgiving stick shifted drive that anybody could learn on. This would really be a great first manual. And if you do go for the GT, which will have the automatic, it's also available for a limited, so the exact same price point as the Elantra. You can have some fun as well as the daily driving stuff. So that is available. Hopefully one day I can drive that. But this feels fun to just cruise around. The all-wheel drive gives me traction all the time. The steering feels pretty good, and it's decently flat in the turns. It does feel a little taller. It definitely doesn't feel like a small car. But again, just fun to cruise around in, great visibility, hitting those bumps. Again, suspension is pretty forgiving. On to the Elantra N now. Now I have driven both manuals and dual clutches for this car. In the manual, I'd say it's a really good system, pretty similar to the WRX's overall. Really no complaints. A little bit shorter throw shifter though, so I do like that with the manual version. In the dual clutch, when you first get up and go, you have to give it a little bit of throttle to let the clutches engage. And then this car has drive modes. Again, you don't get drive modes on the base model versions of the WRX. This has a limited slip front differential. You have torque vectoring in the WRX. It's peppy. The power seems very similar overall to each car. They're very similar in 0 to 60. I would say the power is a little smoother in the Elantra. I think the Boxer, it takes a little bit more to get the turbo going, and then it really is punchy towards the higher end. I feel like the Elantra is a little more linear in just the power delivery. One of the biggest things I'll notice, this is a lot noisier. Like I mentioned, just sitting in the back seat, how I could feel like the echo and hear that more. This car while driving, there's a lot more reverberation of exterior sounds. So that is just one thing. That steering gets really heavy. Now, all the parking sensors, the cameras, obviously this thing is so feature packed. So that is a huge plus. And it looks like turning circle is a lot tighter in the WRX. That is significantly different. So the Subaru does have a lot of aspects to it that make it nice. It has maybe a little bit better sound insulation and build quality, tighter turning circle, and technically a more broad spectrum. But where the Elantra shines, it's one car, you just pick your transmission and color basically. Handling and performance though, this handles flat. The steering, again, there's more variability to the tuning of every aspect due to all the drive modes that are standard in this car, but it's flat in the turns, the steering's nice. These brakes work great, probably better than the standard brakes in the WRX, maybe not as good as the Brembos though, but again, all standard for a affordable price. It really does pack a lot. It feels very tight and nimble. This feels like a car you could rip around the autocross, do some turns where you're gonna see the back tire popping off the ground. Like, it's a riot when you really start pushing this car harder. So I like that aspect with the Elantra N. A little bit different tone as well. You have the active exhaust versus just that boxer rumble. So it's nice to kind of have the active system in this car to give you that pop in between gear changes. You have launch control in this. So it's kind of a toss-up between the two. This gives you all the little bells and whistles. It is fun, it is quick, it handles good. The WRX just feels like a little more solid vehicle in general, but you might have to spend more to get all the features that this car will have. But if you go with the limited, kind of the same price as this, you will have the nicer seats, the nav, fog lights. So that'd be kind of the best comparison between the two. I would stick with manual on both cars, honestly, just because I like the stick shift. I wouldn't probably go CVT in the WRX, I doubt that is all too fun. Dual clutch is a really good auto for this car if needed. But last acceleration, you know, not trying to pin it too hard on a new car, but the traction control does do a very good job where I'm not seeing spinning in this front wheel drive version. So while you give all wheel drive standard in that, front wheel drive only in this, you know, I'm not seeing that as a big downfall. I know with all weather driving, you know, up north where it snows, you're probably leaning towards WRX due to the all-wheel drive. But even in the rain, I'm not seeing moderate to sporty driving as really a hindrance for being front-wheel drive. So my ending thoughts comparing the Elantra N to the WRX. Realistically, if you're gonna be speccing a WRX in the same price range as an Elantra N, as well as the same features, you're looking at a limited, so kind of budget, maybe 36 to 38 grand for one of these cars. In the WRX, you know, you're gonna get a little bit better spacing, you know, the trunk, the back seats, the pass-through is a little bit more well-rounded versus the Elantra due to its chassis brace. With that said, all-wheel drive is nice to have. You have no worries of traction. However, you do get a lot of character in the Elantra N. It just feels something you just wanna drive it hard. It's snappy feeling. It is really kind of a riot. The WRX, however, the build quality seems a little bit nicer, just seems like a little bit more solid of a vehicle in general. But again, you then have extra bells and whistles on the Elantra N. So that is a toss-up. Maybe the all-wheel drive versus front-wheel drive is gonna be people's biggest thing to decipher which one they're gonna go for. However, if you wanna then break the bank, you can go top trim well into the $40,000 range and get a lot of extra performance, drive modes, and things like that. But at the same price tag, I am kind of at a toss-up. That is a hard one. I don't know if I can pick a clear winner. I think I kind of like driving this better just because it's quieter. But again, this in the N mode, I don't know, there's something about it that gives you an extra fun factor. So, I don't know, maybe a little bit more luxury, a little bit more sporty. It could be the kind of way to describe it, but it's a toss-up. Comment below, which one are you gonna go for? Spec for spec, price for price. Shout out to Flo Hyundai of Statesville for providing the Elantra N for today's video and Subaru USA for this WRX. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, stay tuned for plenty more content, and I'll see you all in the next video.